Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to my monthly video on the best games hitting retail. Every month I put out this video on about 25 of the best games that are coming to friendly local game stores or online marketplaces or publishers' websites that month. All this information comes directly from publishers. I'm in touch with literally hundreds of publishers to make this video, so this is sort of the best available information. I confirm all the games at the start of the month that I'm putting this video out. All of that is to say, there's still delays sometimes. So while this is the best available information, occasionally a game might get pushed to the next month. So last month I talked about Evil Corp from Hachette. Well, that's actually coming out this month because after I made that video, it got delayed. But again, I try to include all different types of games in this video. You're going to find heavy games, you're going to find party games, you're going to find family games, and sort of hopefully there's something here for everybody. So I hope you're excited about some of the games in this video. These are about 25 of the best games coming to retail here in April. I should also mention that all of these releases are North American retail releases. I don't know about the whole European schedule because I am not European. I don't live in Europe. So this is focused on North America. First up, 25th Century Games is releasing the game Nova Roma to retail. This is probably the heaviest game that 25th Century Games has ever released. They do a lot of sort of lighter weight games, party games, things like that. But this is 1 to 4 players, plays in 60 to 120 minutes, and is that kind of medium plus weight game. In the game, you are playing as Roman nobles, helping the emperor establish the eastern capital of Constantinople. It's Istanbul. It's Constantinople. It's not Istanbul because it was Constantinople right there. So, this is at the time of Constantinople, not Istanbul. And so in the game, it's a Euro game for sure, where you are doing some worker placement sort of stuff. The thing that caught my attention as the thing that stood out in Nova Roma is you will be placing workers down in this grid system and taking the actions of the row and column. But if you have more of your workers in that row or column, it makes that action more powerful. It makes it stronger. You get to do more because you have multiple workers in that row or column. So that sounded kind of cool to me. I love like Architects of the West Kingdom, where if you have multiple workers in a spot, then it makes that spot more powerful. Well, this is kind of doing the same thing, but in this grid system. And there are a lot of different actions to take in the game. There's a lot of different stuff going on, as you might imagine, for a medium plus game. But if you like worker placement, if you like Roman nobles, if you like Constantinople, check out Nova Roma. Amigo Games is releasing the game Pick a Pen. There are actually 3 games in this series, and I'll kind of all talk about them in the same breath because they are all similar games. The 3 versions are Gardens, Crypts, and Reefs. And they all have slightly different puzzles and things like that, but they all play the same. So Pick a Pen is a roll and write game that feels like a classic roll and write game, and that you're crossing off things in different sections on your player sheet and getting bonuses. But the way you're doing that, you're not rolling dice, you're literally rolling pencils. And the face of the pencil that is facing up, will have some icons on it, and that will correspond to various actions and sections of your board. And so you are going to select one of the pencils, mark off stuff on your player sheet, and then other players are going to draft their own pencil and mark off stuff on their player sheet. And so, there's not a lot of downtime. Everybody is doing stuff. There's also each of these 3 versions of the game also comes with 3 difficulty levels of player sheets. In each of the games, there are sheets with sort of easy, medium, and harder puzzles and things to cross off and bonuses to get. So it's a unique roll and write game, plays 2 to 4 players in about 30 minutes. And that's all 3 of those versions play 2 to 4 players in about 30 minutes. So yeah, if you want a unique roll and write, check out Pick a Pen. Asmodee is releasing the game Pikit. This plays 2 to 4 players in about 20 minutes. It is a family weight game. You will be rolling dice and then using the die results to select cards from a market of cards. You know, if you have a 4 on a die result, you can pick a 3 and a 1, or you can pick 2 2s, or things like that, you know. And then you're going to use the cards either for endgame points, or you're going to play them to get cool special abilities. So that's the hard choice of the game. Do you want to save it to try to get points later, or are you going to try to do cool stuff that might get you better cards, more cards, that sort of thing? So plays quickly. I really like the art on it too. It's like fun, vibrant, colorful art on there. And, you know, I love a good dice rolling game for sure. You know, you never know what's going to happen. That's the exciting part of dice rolling. So, and again, family weight game. So if you're looking for fun card dice game for your family, check out Pikit. Asmodee, in association with Office Dog Games, are releasing Word Traveler, not World Traveler. That bit would have been better if I didn't mess up the word right there. It was going to be funny, and then I kind of said the same thing. It's not World Traveler, it's Word Traveler. There you go. That's, you know, it's always worth going back to a joke that you messed up. So that's what I always say on stage. You got to go back. Everybody wants you to go back. So Word Traveler, you might imagine by the name, is you are traveling around a board that's sort of representative of a map, but you are doing it by playing word cards. And it is a cooperative game, so you want other people to sort of guess your route, but you're all starting in the center of the board and playing word cards that basically tell other people where you want to travel to. Ooh, I want to travel to this spot, and then I'm going to go north and travel up to here, and I'm trying to get to this destination. But, you know, you're doing it with word cards. So if you like word association games like Codenames, Decrypto, games like that, this is that sort of a game, because the board has all of these, every square on the board has artwork, and you are trying to, I'm going to use vigilant and not playful. Those 2 clues will get me to this sort of Buckingham Palace sentry, you know, and then I'm going to turn north and I'm going to try to get up here. And so you're just trying to communicate where you are traveling by using word association, word clues. Word Traveler plays 2 to 5 players in 30 to 45 minutes, and it is a sort of medium weight-ish, but lighter medium weight game. You know, kind of in the party game world, but more meat and more strategy than most party games, for sure. Asmodee, in association with Libellude, is releasing Harmonies. This game plays 1 to 4 players in about 30 minutes, and it is a lighter medium weight game. And in the game, you are creating beautiful landscapes by placing colored tiles. They're these like little discs, and you are going to be placing these little discs down in your player area and matching patterns, creating patterns with the discs, and you are trying to match the patterns that are on cards to score points. You know, this one you need 3 yellow ones next to each other, and this one you need 2 blue ones, and then a green one, and a brown one. You know, and so there is some cool 3-dimensionality to how you're placing out these little discs, these little tiles. They call it strategic yet poetic, right? It's an abstract game that is very beautiful, and the artwork is very beautiful on the cards as well. So if you were a fan of some pretty stuff in your games, if you want a game that's a looker, then Harmonies might be for you. If you like nature themes, that's a good one as well. Asmodee, in association with Surf and Meeples, is releasing Manhattan Project War Machine. This plays 1 to 4 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a lighter medium weight game. A medium weight game, but not on the higher end of that. In the game, you are going to do some Yahtzee-style dice rolling, and then assign those, do some dice placement with that, assign them to different spots on the board, and get benefits and manage resources. There's a lot of resource tracks in the game, so you are going to be managing your resources throughout the game, gaining stuff, spending stuff, doing all of that. And then you're going to build buildings too. So there's an engine building aspect to the game as well. With the buildings that you built, you can activate your buildings to get special abilities. But the central core of the game is Yahtzee-style dice rolling, where you're allowed to roll up to 3 times. You can set some aside, re-roll others, that sort of thing, try to get what you want. Then you're going to be assigning them to the board. One of the cool things about the game, though, is if you take a powerful action, then everybody else gets a less powerful sub-action. If you played a game like Earth last year, which was a very popular game, and did this thing very well, where you're always getting to do stuff, everybody's getting to do stuff, I love that. I love not having downtime in a game. I'm always invested, and also, I feel like I'm always getting good things. That feels positive. That feels fun, when you're like, ooh, I get that on. It's not even my turn, and I'm getting that. All right, let's go. And so, yeah, if you assign a die to a powerful action, then everybody else is getting the sort of less powerful sub-action, but still getting some cool stuff on their turn. So, yeah, if you like dice placement, check out Manhattan Project War Machine. Blue Orange Games is releasing the party game Slingz. I will mention also that there is a family version of Slingz, and then an After Dark adults-only version of Slingz. So, depending on who you're playing with, they've got you covered. It is a speed game for 2 to 7 players, and it is a lightweight game because it's a party game. And what you'll be doing in Slingz is you are sort of rushing in a bit of real time to give answers that match categories that start with letter cards in your hand. Everybody is going to get letter cards, and then a category will come up on the table. And if you can say something that matches that category, like maybe it's things in the kitchen, and you're like, refrigerator, boom, yeah, that's an answer. But we're all trying to do that as quickly as possible because only the first 3 answers are accepted, and then somebody has to play a new category. And so we're trying to get rid of the cards in our hand as fast as possible. And you got to be quick, and you got to be clever, and you got to be thinking of clues and answers all the time in it. Plays very quickly because it has that real-time aspect of it, and it's just going to make everybody laugh, huh? When you're like, things in a refrigerator, and you're like, toothbrush! Oh, no, that's not in a refrigerator! I don't know! And then everybody's going to talk about that for years to come. The time where you were dumb and you said that your toothbrush was in a refrigerator. It's not. It's in the bathroom. You silly goose. Draco Studios is releasing a couple of games to retail this month. The first of which is Patzcuaro. Patzcuaro is a city in Mexico that celebrates Dia de los Muertos a lot. It's one of the places that's known for it. And so in this game, I made a video for their Kickstarter campaign for Patzcuaro, and it's a small box game, 2 to 4 players, plays in 20 to 45 minutes, and it's a sort of lighter weight game, but a lighter weight game that has some, interesting choices and strategy to it. But I liked it a lot because of the theme and the artwork and how that all tied into the mechanics of the game. You will be using workers to go around in a rondel and stopping at different places and taking cards for your ofrenda. You are trying to build an altar to the ones you've lost, to your loved ones from past generations. And so you are going to be building this ofrenda with various different items and scoring points based on objective cards and things like that. Oh, you got this in your first row, you have a bunch of these, you have the most of these types of things, you have candles, you have cake. You have all this different stuff that you would put in your altar. And so, yeah, it's a great theme, great artwork, and clever little sort of set collection, pyramid building objective game for sure. Draco Studios is also releasing Neuroriders to retail. Neuroriders plays 2 to 4 players in 20 to 40 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is like a straight puzzly type of game. Thematically, it's almost like a magic school bus, Miss Frizzle, where you are scientists that have gone into a brain, and you are studying this deteriorated mind. But as you're moving through the consciousness, it's fighting back and crystallizing rooms and setting memories and stuff like that. So it's a tile laying game at its core. There will be tiles in a market, and you are taking those and adding them to the sort of shared central area, and then you are moving these Neuroriders, the meeples, through the different rooms of the mind. And you are going to push up the value of certain colors by moving through those doors in the mind. You can create connections with doors and then move meeples through that, and if the meeple matches the color of the door, it's going to bump up and become worth more points at the end of the game. And you'll have some objective cards that says, oh yeah, you score a bunch for pink, that sort of thing. But yeah, one of the interesting things is, as you are sort of building out this maze, building out this tile area, the mind fights back and crystallizes rooms. So rooms will flip over and you can no longer move through them. They sort of become set in stone, and so you have to keep moving around, keep building out this consciousness as it's sort of chasing you and flipping over a little bit. It's just an interesting puzzle for sure. I had a chance to play that one as well for their Kickstarter campaign a year ago or something. So, Flat River Group and Synapsis Games are releasing Finding Atlantis. This plays 1 to 4 players in 40 to 100 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Finding Atlantis has a little bit of sort of classic battleship in it. All players will have a privacy screen and a grid and are trying to deduce things on their grid, like the classic game Battleship. But in this one, you are using an app, and you are sort of asking questions of the app by playing some of your cards, and the app will reveal information to you, and then you're making notes on your own little private board behind your privacy screen so other people don't see the information that you got, and you are trying to find Atlantis first. You are trying to, put the clues together, figure out the information, where on this grid are the different stuff that I'm looking for. It is very app dependent, so if you're not a huge fan of apps in your games, well, you will need an app for Finding Atlantis. But also, the app offers more than 1 million distinct and challenging sea maps. So that's the benefit of having an app, is that you can't put 1 million puzzles in a box. It's impossible. That box would be bigger than Los Angeles. That's not true now that I do the math, because Los Angeles has 4 million people in it. So you can fit 1 million puzzles in Los Angeles, but you're not doing it in a board game box. That's for sure. So that's why apps are cool in games, is they sort of help with the world building and the replayability. There's also a solo mode in this too. So if you like deduction, if you like logic puzzles, Finding Atlantis might be for you. Flat River Group and Pendragon Game Studio are releasing Escape from New York. And as you might imagine, this is based on the movie Escape from New York. It plays 1 to 4 players in 40 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Escape from New York, the famous, very sort of cult classic movie with Kurt Russell, where they've turned all of Manhattan into the maximum prison, the country's biggest maximum security prison. And the president accidentally goes down there, and they send in people to save the president, to recover the president. And that's what you're doing in this game, too. You are playing as the main characters from the movie. All of the characters will have some asymmetric abilities, some different powers, some stuff that they can do. And you are going along, you're moving all throughout Manhattan, trying to find the president, trying to find the tape, trying to find the plans for the bridge. One of the things that makes the game interesting, that sets it apart, is it is a semi-cooperative game, in that you can either all win together by finding the three main objectives and escaping the president, the tape, and the plans, the blueprints or whatever for the bridge. If you find all of those things together and escape together, you all win. It is a cooperative game. However, each player also has a personal objective, and they can abandon the group and accomplish their personal objective and win by themselves and screw everybody else over. And so, add some intrigue to the game for sure, where you're like, are you actually helping us right now, Jeff? Jeff, you better be helping us right now. I like some of that intrigue in games for sure. So if you like semi-cooperative stuff, then check out Escape from New York. Pendragon Game Studios, in association with Flat River Group, are also releasing another game this month, Starship Interstellar. This is a, medium plus bordering on heavyweight game. Plays 1 to 4 players in 90 to 120 minutes. We've screwed up the Earth in this game. I mean, we're on the way in real life too. But in this game, we have screwed up the Earth. And the only thing that's going to save humanity is we have to build an interstellar spaceship and go to a habitable planet. And so each player is playing as a nation, a country, and we are trying to become the foremost contributor to building that interstellar spaceship. So, we're all trying to do it, but who can do it the best? Who can contribute the most? And whoever does that wins the game. There's a lot of different stuff going on in this game. There's, if you like a space theme, that's going to be one of the main reasons to play it. But as it's a medium plus heavyweight game, there's a lot of stuff to go into. It's a lot of action selection. It's it's just different stuff. But save the Earth. Come on. Everybody wants to save the Earth. You got to save the Earth, man. But we're not saving the Earth. We're saving humankind, because the game is not about saving Earth. It's about getting humankind off of the Earth. So scratch that. Don't save the Earth. Save your friends. In Starship Interstellar. Flat River Group and Cobblestone Games are releasing the game Flight of Icarus. This plays 2 to 4 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. In the game, you are playing, it's the Icarus myth, you might have guessed from that title. Icarus famously flew too close to the sun and his wings melted, and it was bad. It was bad for Icarus. And so you are trying to build your wings and then fly from Crete to Greece, to the Greek mainland, and get there first and not die along the way. And there's definitely some take that in this game, because you are going to be placing out stuff on different parts of the board, getting resources. You're getting wax for your wings. You're getting feathers for your wings. You're getting various stuff that you need. You're getting coins by going to different sort of action selection spots. And so you have to manage your resources through all of that stuff. And then the sort of round changes, and now you are flying your meeples across the board and using the resources that you have to do that. If you run out of feathers, you're going to fall and you're going to lose. If you run out of wax, you're going to fall and you're going to lose. But there are weather cards that come up, and you have to actually bid every round using the coins you have. You're bidding for the privilege of being the one that plays a weather card. because you can predict what's going to happen based on your weather card. You can predict whether you're going to move out and up and or down, and all of these different things require stamina. So it's interesting because as you're moving from Crete to Greece, you can be flying up or down or across and stuff like that, and then you're trying to play weather cards to screw over other people and make them fall into the ocean and lose the game. And, I don't know. It's definitely an interesting movement aspect of the game, of using your resources to move across the board better than your opponents are. So that's what happens in Flight of Icarus. Friendly Skeleton Games is releasing the party game Trash Talk. This actually made my top party games of the year. It was in my top 5 party games of the year last year in 2023 because it had a big Gen Con release, but it hasn't come out to retail until now. So if you've been wanting to get Trash Talk and you haven't gotten it at a convention in person, now you can finally get Trash Talk. It's a really, really great sort of cooperative party game that I love a lot. Plays 2 to 8 players in 20 to 45 minutes, but honestly, it can play sort of as many people as you want. It's a party game I think I prefer at like the sort of 4 to 5 player count is my favorite, so you don't need 8 people, but you certainly can play it with that many people. There are a bunch of objects in the box, random objects, a little house plant, a little car, a coin, a metal thing, just a bunch of random stuff. There are words that are going to come up, and you have to, one player is playing as the sort of facilitator of the game, and everyone else is trying to interpret their clues. I am associating stuff, these words, with the stuff that I have behind a privacy screen, and you have copies of that stuff, and you are trying to guess how I associated those things. So, if there's a word on here that says kitchen, well, am I going to use the plant for kitchen because that is, you're using vegetables and things like that in the kitchen? Or am I going to use this coin because I think of knives when it comes to the kitchen, and knives are metal and this coin is metal? And, so you just have to interpret how the active player is thinking about these clues. And you are trying to, every round that you're right, you add another word, and you keep going, and you're trying to add more and more words and see how far you can get. Technically, winning the game is being able to do 10 words. I have never done that. I have gotten to 9 a couple of times, but I've never gotten to 10. But you don't feel unaccomplished when you get, if you're missing like 3 or 4, you feel unaccomplished. But if you're getting to like 6, 7, 8, and then you don't get it, you're like, man, we did great. Like, that was so fun. We did so well together. You don't feel like you failed or lost the game, anything like that. So, yeah, it's just a really interesting, it's one of those games that like sparks debate and conversation afterwards too, because you're like, what? That's what you think of when you think of this? Wait, how does your brain work? And so you're always talking and discussing and stuff after every round of Trash Talk. It's a lot of fun. If you like party games or cooperative games, then check it out. Hachette, in association with Funny Fox and Sorry We Are French, are releasing the game Mind Map. This is another party-style game. Plays 4 to 14 players in 20 to 30 minutes. This is a game where there is an X and Y axis, and you will have sort of descriptors on those X and Y axis. Like this X-axis says like needs a instruction manual, and this one says something else. And then there will be words along the side of the Y-axis, and every player is going to get a thing that tells them that they are responsible for one word. And then they're going to put their token out on the X and Y axis, and you want people to guess your stuff. You're trying to do a good job where you're like, okay, well, these sunglasses, they don't really require an instruction manual, but they are great when it's sunny out, so I'm going to put it way up there. And you're just trying to, like, put it somewhere in the chart. If you're a fan of charts and things like that, then this is very much a chart game. And another one like Trash Talk, where you are just trying to get inside someone else's brain. You're trying to be like, well, how do they think of this thing? What do they think when they think of this? And, again, we'll prompt discussions, we'll prompt debates when you're like, what? Why would you put that there? That has nothing to do with this. And so, if you like party games, cooperative games, that's another one to check out. Mind Map. Hachette, in association with Randolph and Scorpion Masqué, are releasing the card game Now, but, it's like now with an apostrophe, so it's like now, it's very in your face, now. It plays 3 to 8 players in about 15 minutes. This is a real-time discarding game. You are trying to discard your cards in Now. There will be cards out on the board in the central area that have numbers, and you are trying to play a card that is closest in number to one of those things. And you are trying to do it as fast as possible. You are discarding your cards as fast as possible to get rid of your hand. So it's pretty simple. It's a very light card game that plays 8 and up. So if you're looking for a family card game that has like some energy, some action, some real-time stuff, then Now might be for you. Hachette, in association with Gigamic, is releasing the game Line It. This is another small box card game. Plays 2 to 4 players in about 20 minutes. It is a lightweight game. And you are trying to get cards in an ascending or a descending order. And whether it is ascending or descending is up to you, based on the cards that you take and you play in your line. One of the things that sets it apart just from sort of putting numbers in a row is then you can add bid cards, betting cards, gambling cards into your line that says, I think I'm going to be able to add 5 more cards after the one that I just placed. I've put a +5 here, and I've got a 90, an 82, a 64, and a 56, and I think I'm going to be able to add 5 more cards after the 56. And if you do that, you're going to get a bunch of points, and if you don't do that, you're going to lose a bunch of points. And so, yeah, it's, got a little bit of sort of take 5, take a number. If you've ever played that game, definitely feels like it has a little bit of that in it, but just a quick card drafting sort of puzzly number game for you. That's Line It. Hasbro is releasing the game Life in Reterra. This one is notable partly because it's a Hasbro game designed by Eric Lang. And so Hasbro right now is wants to straddle the line a little bit more between hobby games and mass market games. Hasbro obviously is very well known for their mass market games, but they're releasing a little bit more games in the hobby line now, and this is one of the first ones in that sort of hobby world. It plays 2 to 4 players in 35 minutes, and it is still a, lighter plus game, I guess you would put it. It's got some real strategy and decisions, but it is a lightweight game that you could play with family. You could play this with kids for sure. It is a tile-laying game. You will be drafting a tile and adding it to your own area, and your area can be 4x4 max. So it has a little bit of like King Domino feel to it, because you are trying to create areas of like terrain. You are scoring points for surrounding energy sources, for getting relics in your grid area, and when you can create these sort of patterns of gear icons, you can draft buildings and place them into your area, and those buildings will all come with special abilities that you can activate throughout the game. So you want to get these gear icons into patterns that you're interested in to get those buildings down on there and generate points and abilities and things like that that help you throughout the game. One of the coolest things is they've made it very easy for people to get into, in that they have created sets of cards and buildings. And there's, in fact, even, there's trays and stuff included in the game for those sets and cards. And so it kind of ramps up in difficulty. Oh, you can play this starter set, but then move on to these. Now these abilities are a little bit more interesting, a little bit harder to come, and then you can add more and more abilities to the game with the buildings that you're using in it and stuff like that. So it can really scale up in difficulty as you play it more, as you play it with different people. And so in that way, it's meant to be sort of a welcoming game that also sort of ramps up the gamer aspect of it. So, hopefully this can help get more people into games. I'm always about that. I'm all for that. So, Life of Reterra, sort of an introduction to the hobby world in a mass market type of a game. Japanime Games is releasing Japanime Tactics GranBlue Fantasy. GranBlue Fantasy is a popular Japanese video game, and this is the tabletop version of that. It is a two-player only game where you are going to be engaging in some combat with your opponent. You play as characters from GranBlue Fantasy, and you are combining their ability cards into a deck and battling your opponent's team on a modular board of interlocking map tiles. And so, it's moving around a grid, an arena, and fighting the other player. You will use your cards to attack and defend with your characters, and cards can be used by any character to provide bonuses for matching colors and action types. So if you like sort of an arena combat game for two players, if you like this video game, if you like Japanese anime type art, this has all of that in there. So yeah, check it out. GranBlue Fantasy. And there's a bunch of different sort of expansion packs already for this. This is the starter set that I'm talking about, but you can add more characters, more cards, all of that stuff into the game for more replayability and more sort of asymmetric character, interesting stuff to explore, for sure. Colossal Games is releasing Galactic Renaissance. This plays 2 to 4 players in 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. This is from the same people that made the game Innis, and so it is sort of the second game in the political trilogy, is what they're calling it. And so it's not, it's not a sequel, it's not the same game at all, but just sort of, this idea of these area control. It's like a political theme area control game, but it's not focused on combat. That's one of the things that sets this game apart, is that you are working for area control in different parts of the board, but you're never going to be attacking each other, you're not going to be destroying anything, you're not going to be stealing resources or things like that. In fact, when an area gets full, you kind of have to just slowly withdraw from that area. And so that, area control without direct conflict is a very interesting thing that I don't know that I've played a lot of games like that before. In the game, you are building your team and adding new specialists to your deck of cards, and there's no discarding cards. When you play cards, they're going down, and then you get to arrange them when you're out of cards in any order that you want to then take back into your hand. You're going to be discovering new planets and systems, reconnecting with lost civilizations, expanding your influence, building embassies, sowing disorder in opposing factions, all in an effort to score victory points faster than your opponents. So, exploring new planets, building stuff, but not really engaging in direct conflict and direct combat, which, makes it interesting for an area control civilization building game for sure. Lime Green Games is releasing the game Paper Trail to retail. This plays 2 to 5 players in about 45 minutes, and it is a lighter medium weight game. I love the theme of this game, Paper Trail. It is a one versus many game One person plays as the teacher, and everybody else plays as students trying to pass notes around the classroom. And so oftentimes in like hidden movement games, this is a hidden movement game, and oftentimes in hidden movement games, it's like the everybody's trying to like flee from the one person. But in this one, actually, everybody else is sort of more static, and the one person, the teacher, is moving around in the classroom trying to grab these notes and confiscate these notes that you're passing. And so, yeah, it just, I don't know, that's a fun theme. It's 7th grade history class, you know, don't get got. Don't get got in 7th grade history class. The teacher either wins by confiscating enough notes to end the game, or players win by passing notes and scoring points along the way. It is not a cooperative game amongst those students, though. One student will win based on who sort of passed notes the best and scored the most points along the way. So, yeah, it's and I believe this is Lime Green Games' first game out there, so that's exciting as well. Lucky Duck Games is releasing Paper App Dungeon. This is a small solo game, plays in about 5 to 90 minutes because you can kind of play it as long as you want, and it is a lighter weight game. It is a roll and write game that you are playing solo, and it kind of comes with like this notepad. This notepad will have a bunch of different dungeon crawl stuff in it, a bunch of different puzzles, and you are rolling dice and using a pencil to move through this dungeon and collect hit points and collect coins and collect cool things along the way, and then you will be flipping it up and moving on to the next room of the dungeon or the next puzzle and using the stuff you gained along the way. And so how far through it can you get? You know, this feels like a game you could play in line when you're waiting for something, or you know what I mean? You just sort of get it out and you're standing and you're using your little pencil and this little notepad and playing a game and passing the time well. So yeah, all that you really need is area for rolling a die, but you could do that on your phone or something like that too. You get to customize your character along the way too. You're going to get cool upgrades for your character, like you're going to get items from shops that are sprinkled throughout the game. Yeah, you can track your stats, all that sort of stuff. So it's like a little dungeon crawl game mixed with a roll and write in a very small package that you can play solo. So that's Paper App Dungeon. Thunderworks Games is releasing Stonespine Architects. This is one of my most anticipated games of the year. I got a chance to play the prototype and I loved it, and I can't wait to play it more. Plays 1 to 5 players in 45 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. It is a card drafting game. You will be drafting cards and passing cards around the table like, you know, a Sushi Go or something like that. But you're doing it with the aim of building the best dungeon. You will be putting cards down in your dungeon, and you're going to score points for a bunch of different ways. You're going to score points for objective cards that you get. Oh, you have the most of this type of thing in your dungeon. You have the most of this type of thing in your dungeon. You're also creating pathways through the dungeon, and you're going to score points for creating good paths that get you from one side to the other. There's a decent amount of different stuff you're going to score points for. You're going to score points for getting specific features at specific points in your dungeon. Oh, I need a mountain symbol over here at my top right corner, that sort of stuff. When you can accomplish that, you're going to score points. And so it's just a really interesting drafting and sort of tableau puzzle building game. You're using your cards to build this dungeon puzzle in front of you, and I really like it. It's got fun artwork and stuff in it too. But it was one I really liked the prototype, and I'm excited to play it more. Stonespine Architects from Thunderworks Games. Only a few more here. We've got Way Too Many Cats from Weird Giraffe Games. Weird Giraffe puts out a lot of sort of cute, fun-themed games, and this is about cats and kittens, so I think you can file it under the same sort of cute theme here. 1 to 6 players, plays in 45 to 60 minutes, and it is a lighter medium weight game. You are trying to wrangle cats and show them off without getting overrun by kittens. It is a competitive drafting spatial puzzle game. You are drafting cats, putting them into your area, and you want to make each cat happy. Different cats are going to have different requirements. This can't be next to this, or this is over here, you know, all that sort of stuff. And so you are putting your cats down, and then you are pressing your luck, pulling kitten tokens out of a bag. I love press your luck in games. I love pulling stuff out of bags. It's always just fun. You never know what's going to happen. As you can imagine, Way Too Many Cats is full of a lot of cute art of cats. So if you are a fan of cat games, then this one is probably for you. Weird Draft Games is also releasing the very small box game Motley. This is a party game, plays 2 to 10 players in about 30 minutes, and it is a pattern communication game. There will be a card that has some things on it, some categories on it, and you are using the backsides of the card, which have all these sort of random colors and shapes, and you can arrange those things however you want to communicate something to the other players. Maybe you can arrange them so it looks like a starfish, and then the thing might be things at the beach, and you're like, oh, starfish is at the beach. Yeah, we got it. And so, you know, it's very free form. It's very abstract. How can you communicate stuff with these shapes and colors in whatever way that you want to? So if you like abstract art, if you like, you know, esoteric communication, then Motley might be for you. It's just 27 cards in there, so it's a very, very small box game for sure. Weird Draft Games is also releasing Dreams of Yesterday to retail. This plays 1 to 3 players in 20 to 30 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. I love the art in this. It's cool. It's, you know, it's got pretty colors, but it's also interesting art the way they've done it. And you are, you're taking cards in a rondel system and adding them to your area. Your area represents a museum. And so you are using money, prestige, and knowledge to obtain the best artifacts for your museum. And so there is a, you have a sort of puzzly layout of your museum. So it's both how you put cards in your layout and set collection are the ways you're going to score points for this. So yeah, it's an interesting, and Dreams of Yesterday is also a little small box game for sure too. So if you're looking for small box family weight games, if you like set collection, if you like cool artwork, Dreams of Yesterday might be for you for all of those reasons. So hey, there we go. That was 26 board games coming to retail near you here in the month of April. I hope you found something that you like. I always start losing my voice by the end of this video because I talk straight for like an hour right now. If you want to support this series, if you want to see other things that are coming out to retail, if you want to get access to the spreadsheet so you can plan out what you're interested in the rest of the year, I've got games through December in my spreadsheet right now. You can help support the series through my Patreon, patreon.com/GrantsGameRex. So again, hope you're having fun playing the games out there, everybody. All right, I'm Grant Lyon.